Have you ever sat in a leadership meeting where the air felt thick with unspoken accusations? It is a scene played out in boardrooms worldwide. Marketing proudly displays a slide showing a record number of leads, yet the sales VP looks visibly uncomfortable. Sales counters that those leads are nothing more than digital window shoppers or junk data. Meanwhile, the customer service team is struggling to onboard new clients who were promised features during the sales process that are not currently on the product roadmap. If this sounds familiar, you are not alone. Most growing companies suffer from a quiet internal war. We call these silos. While your teams are busy defending their own turf and optimizing their own specific metrics, your revenue is leaking through the cracks. But what if the problem isn't your people? What if your teams are actually full of talented, hardworking individuals who are simply trapped in a broken system? The truth is that most organizational friction stems from a lack of sales and marketing alignment that is built into the company's infrastructure. In this deep dive, we will explore why these silos exist, the staggering cost of the blame game, and how a revenue operations RevOps mindset, powered by a single source of truth, can turn your internal conflict into a high-velocity growth engine. The anatomy of a silo. Why does the war start? Silos do not happen because people want to be complicated or secretive. They occur as a natural byproduct of how we traditionally build and scale businesses. Most companies start with a flat structure. As they grow, they specialize. They hire a salesperson, then a marketer, then a support rep. To help these individuals succeed, leadership provides them with tools. However, in the absence of a central strategy, each department head buys the tool they like best or the one they used at their previous job. This is where the foundation of the silo is laid. Marketing chooses a platform to send emails and track social media engagement. Sales chooses a CRM to track calls and deal stages. Service chooses a ticketing desk to manage customer complaints. Suddenly, you have what we call a Frankenstack, a technological monster made of disconnected parts that do not communicate with one another. When your data is disconnected, your perspective is limited. This leads to several systemic issues. Fragmented customer journeys. A customer might receive a welcome email from marketing while they are in the middle of a heated dispute with a service agent. Conflicting KPIs. Marketing is incentivized by lead volume, sales by closed revenue, and service by ticket resolution speed. None of these metrics on their own accounts for the company's holistic health or the long-term value to the customer. The information gap. Sales reps walk into discovery calls blind because they cannot see which white papers the prospect has read. Service reps struggle to help customers because they don't know which specific promises were made during the deal. This lack of visibility breeds deep-seated resentment. When a lead doesn't close, sales blames marketing for bad leads. When a customer churns, marketing blames service for poor retention efforts. This friction creates a blame game that is more than just an office annoyance. It is an economic drain. According to research by IDC, misalignment between these departments can cost companies 10% or more of their annual revenue every single year. For a company making $10 million, that is $1 million left on the table simply because the teams won't or can't talk to each other. The hidden risks of DIY tech implementations. In an effort to fix these gaps, many ambitious leaders attempt a do-it-yourself, DIY fix. They recognize that they need a central tool, so they purchase a powerful platform like HubSpot. However, they attempt to set it up over a weekend or delegate the task to an intern who lacks a background in revenue operations. This is a significant strategic risk. A DIY implementation often results in digitizing your existing silos rather than removing them. If you take a broken, siloed process and move it into a sophisticated tool without a plan, you simply get worse results faster. You end up with a high-tech version of the same old mess. Furthermore, an unoptimized tech stack leads to massive tech bloat. When tools aren't integrated, your best employees are forced to act like manual data entry clerks rather than creative strategists. They spend their days exporting CSV files from one tool and importing them into another, trying to create a coherent report that should have been available with a single click. Consider the impact on your sales force. Did you know that the average sales rep spends only about 28% of their time actually selling? The remaining 72% of their time is swallowed by administrative tasks, searching for information across different apps and trying to reconstruct a prospect's history from fragmented notes. When your teams spend nearly 3/4 of their time fighting with their tools, they don't have the capacity to fight for your customers. For tech startups and scaling firms, this inefficiency is a silent killer. In a competitive market, speed is a primary advantage. Silos act as a digital anchor, slowing down your response times and making your organization feel sluggish and disconnected from the customer. RevOps, the strategic bridge to unity. How do we end the war? The solution is not more meetings, it is revenue operations, RevOps. RevOps is the strategic integration of sales, marketing, and service departments to provide a better end-to-end customer experience while driving predictable revenue. It is the practice of aligning your people, your processes, and your platform. When you prioritize sales and marketing alignment through a RevOps lens, you shift the focus from departmental victories to collective growth. The data backing this shift is undeniable. Highly aligned organizations achieve an average annual revenue growth of 32%. In contrast, companies that remain stuck in their silos often see a 7% decline in their bottom line. Breaking down silos via RevOps requires 3 specific pillars. 1. Shared language and definitions. The war often starts because teams speak different languages. If marketing defines a lead as anyone who downloads a checklist, but sales only wants to talk to people who have requested a pricing sheet, the system is rigged for failure. RevOps forces a consensus. Everyone must agree on what constitutes a marketing qualified lead, MQL, and a sales qualified lead, SQL. Without these shared definitions, your reporting will always be skewed. Number 2, shared incentives and accountability. In many organizations, the marketing team's job is done once the lead crosses the fence. This creates a volume over quality mindset. Alignment occurs when everyone has a stake in the game. When marketing is measured not just on lead quantity, but on the percentage of those leads that turn into closed revenue, their behavior changes, and they start focusing on the high-intent prospects that sales actually wants to talk to. Number 3, a unified platform. You cannot have alignment if everyone is looking at a different version of the truth. You need a central nervous system for your business. This platform must be accessible to all 3 departments, ensuring that the data entered by a marketer is immediately visible to the salesperson and eventually used by the service agent. HubSpot as your single source of truth. To truly end the internal conflict, you need a single source of truth. This is a central database that records, tracks, and analyzes every customer interaction. This is where HubSpot excels. Unlike a collection of separate tools taped together with APIs and third-party integrations, HubSpot was built from the ground up as a single, unified codebase. This means that sales, marketing, and service are not just connected, they are living in the same house. Imagine the shift in your daily operations. For marketing, they can see exactly which blog posts or social media ads led to the biggest deals. This allows them to stop wasting budget on fluff and double down on what actually drives income. For sales, they can see the exact journey a prospect took before the first call. They know which pages the prospect lingered on, which videos they watched, and what problems they are trying to solve. This turns a cold call into a highly informed, consultative conversation. For service, when a customer calls with a problem, the agent sees the entire history. They are aware of what the customer was promised during the sales cycle and the products they have used. This prevents the customer from having to repeat their story 3 times, one of the most significant pain points in the modern consumer experience. By putting everyone on one platform, you eliminate handoff friction. When a lead moves from marketing to sales, all their context is automatically transferred. No more manual data entry, no more lost notes, and no more excuses. The service connection, the forgotten frontier. While we often focus on the friction between sales and marketing, the service department is frequently the forgotten silo. This is a massive missed opportunity. Service reps interact with your customers more than anyone else in the company. They are the ones who hear the raw truth about why a customer is happy or why they are considering leaving for a competitor. When service is siloed, that goldmine of information remains locked in a support desk tool that no one else accesses. When service is aligned via RevOps and HubSpot, its insights flow backward through the organization. Feedback from marketing. Service can tell marketing which customer types are the best to acquire, the ones who don't call support every 5 minutes. Feedback for sales. Service can identify where sales might be overpromising, helping to set better expectations that lead to higher long-term retention. This turns your business from a linear funnel into a flywheel. In a funnel, the customer is an afterthought at the bottom. In a flywheel, the customer is at the center. And every positive interaction in service provides the momentum for marketing to find more customers and for sales to close them more easily. Actionable steps to start breaking down silos. You don't need to overhaul your entire corporate structure by Monday morning. You can start the process of breaking down silos by taking these direct, actionable steps. Conduct a RevOps audit. Look at your current tech stack. How many tools are you paying for? Where is data being moved manually? Identifying friction points through a RevOps audit is the first step toward fixing them. Host a smarketing meeting. Bring your sales and marketing leaders together monthly. Instead of looking at separate slide decks, consider a shared dashboard. Ask, what can marketing do this month to make sales jobs easier? Map the customer journey. Get a whiteboard and map out every touch point a customer has with your brand, from the first ad they see to their second-year renewal. Identify where the gaps are. Is there a black hole where leads disappear? Adopt a central CRM. If you're still using spreadsheets or disconnected apps, it is time to move to a unified platform like HubSpot. The cost of the software is far less than the 10% revenue loss caused by misalignment. Standardize reporting. Ensure that when the CEO asks, "How are we doing?" every department head gives an answer based on the same set of data. Transitioning from friction to flywheel. The war between sales, marketing, and service is not an inevitable part of doing business. It is a symptom of fragmented systems and a lack of strategic alignment. When you commit to breaking down silos, you are doing more than just making the office a more pleasant place to work. You are building a resilient, scalable, and highly profitable organization. By embracing a RevOps philosophy, you transition from constant internal friction to flow. You stop fighting your colleagues and start fighting for your customers. You replace the blame game with shared accountability and a clear, data-driven path to growth. At Aspiration Marketing, we specialize in helping companies navigate this complex transition. We understand that technology is only one piece of the puzzle. You need the right processes and the right people in place to make that technology work for you. We don't just implement HubSpot. We help you build a revenue operations engine that aligns your entire team around a single source of truth. Whether you are a tech startup looking to gain a foothold or a scaling firm tired of hitting a ceiling, we provide the expert insights and hands-on support needed to turn your departments into a unified front. The war is over. It is time to start growing together.